Hi, this is Zoran Theodorovich, aka the Mighty Z of Capital Chaos TV and Metal Gods Radio. We have Andreas from Naglfar on the phone. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Pretty good, I would say.
Let's talk a little bit about your ethnic background, where you are from, where you spent most of your life, and what's kept you there.
Well, I'm from Sweden, from the northern part of Sweden. Uh, and I've spent most of my life in a small town called Umeå in that area. Uh, Never moved from there. And what kept me here was basically, well, I enjoy the closeness to the nature, and I have all family and friends here, and I get to travel a lot anyways. So I saw no point in moving.
And have you delved much into your ancestry? And was religion a big part of your upbringing?
Well, no, I wouldn't say I've delved much into any ancestry. And religion, well, I wouldn't say that much. No, my family was Christian, but more of a casual kind of way. There were no church involved or anything like that.
And how did you first get into music? Was it through TV, radio, or parents?
Actually, it was a friend's older brother who was into heavy metal, and I think he played me the video for Motley Crue's Live Wire when I was very little, and that was what started it all. So try to find as much music as possible through him, and then my dad actually bought me the Stay Hungry tape with Twisted Sister. So I guess that's where it all started.
That Motley Crue video, Live Wire, with the flame and the smoke and the imagery, that
Yeah,
that had just such an impact on all of us.
yeah,
Yourself, I imagine, well,
it blew me away for sure. Yeah, no,
and the blood.
I, I think I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and I thought that was the coolest I'd ever seen and heard as well, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was a complete package. It's almost like I mean, they had the corpse paint on, and oh man, I remember that
Yeah,
vividly. The
yeah,
flaming, the flaming legs.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's the part you take with you from that video, the burning leather pants.
Did you ever like or appreciate pop music, funk or soul, American type stuff? I don't.
Uh, no, I wouldn't say so. I was pretty much into metal from the start. I mean, there were some songs that were that my older sister was listening to that I could appreciate, but it's not until I got older, much older, that I started to broaden my horizons in music. So I think I was pretty exclusive into different types of metal until I was, well, at least 25, I'd say, something like that. That's when I discovered a band called 16 Horsepower, actually, who is definitely not metal. So
Is it Sirak Loft? Is that? Did I pronounce it correctly?
yes.
Sirak Loft is your new one. It's number 8. It's your first album in 8 years, and Century Media has been with you most of the way. It must be nice.
Absolutely, it's an awesome label, and I mean they really support their bands, and I mean the one of the guys who signed us has actually been a fan since the start. So I mean, it has turned in. It's just not business only. It's also turned in. It's a friendship going on as well, since we've known each other for so many years, and that feels really good.
And there must have been a time when an album, the next album might have been expected within a shorter time frame, I imagine.
Absolutely, but I mean, and that's a cool thing with the guys in Central Media. They have been very understanding. In the beginning, they were like, "Yeah, maybe we should try to get something out pretty soon." But as the years went by and they started to get to know us, I guess they just, they roll their eyes and go, it's not. But I mean,
Now,
they've been very cool and very patient and understanding, So that's very we appreciate that very much.
Now, the new album is a great album. You must be very proud of yourself.
Thank you, and yeah, of course. I mean, it's since it took such a long time. We started writing in 2014, and although we didn't really start to speed up and really focus until 2 years ago, it feels like, it's like a weight off my shoulder now when it's finally out, and you get to see, the feedback that people are not throwing rocks at us, at least. So that feels very good.
And is the artwork the art looks familiar? Is the artwork in-house? Is the in-house label artist?
It's Christian Wolin, or Necrolord as he's called. He's done a lot of famous album covers for within extreme metal. So that's probably why. He's been working with bands like Tiamat, Dissection. Tons of them. So.
And is this does he write specifically for your particular album title?
Actually, he asked when we asked if he had time to work with us to make the cover for the album. He asked me about what the lyrics were about and the title of the album and a little bit like that. And when I explained it to him, he was confident that he would be able to do something. And we think that he nailed it, basically. He's very fitting to the music.
Men of Isa, your end is fucking nigh.
Yeah.
Well, that just reached out. Not much in the way of profanity elsewhere throughout the album.
No, but it's not our I wouldn't say it's our main goal is to be blasphemous, if you know what I mean. It's we write what we want to write about. I would say what the song feels like it's gonna be about. We always finish the music, and then I try to find out what the music is telling, if that makes sense.
Of course. Is there a concept to Sirak Loft, or is it more of a collection of songs?
I would say a collection of songs. The thread that goes through is death and destruction, but that's it. It's only loosely tied together, I would say. We had ideas before of doing concept albums, and we have ideas for it, and it was originally this album was meant to be a concept album, but as the process went along, we noticed that it wasn't the music wasn't fitting into the concept we were thinking of, so we have saved that for later.
Concept albums are just sort of like a norm for many bands throughout their careers. As so is playing with an orchestra. Could you imagine you guys doing an album with an orchestra? Maybe an old one, or any at all?
I haven't thought about it, to be honest. We had in my hometown we had the symphonic orchestra of this town, and they put together a show where they had 3 metal bands that played their songs with them helping out. and we didn't do that at that time. But you should never. I guess you should never say never, because it was very successful.
Was there any new wizardry involved with the recording process?
Wizardry?
Yeah, just new techniques. I just thought wizardry sounded more fun than techniques.
No, no. I think we went about just about like we usually do. But one thing we did different, I think, was that we had a more relaxed approach to the performance, the instruments. In on previous releases, we've been very strict about, it should sound like a machine, basically. And this time around, we wanted a more live-like feel to both sound and performance, which I think we made. I think this is the album that's closest to us in a live situation.
Have you always played Les Paul, and are there any new gadgets in your arsenal?
I'm actually not playing Les Paul at the moment, not the Gibson one at least. I'm playing an LTD Eclipse at the moment from ESP with the Evertune bridge, which is very cool, I would say.
Oh, how does that? I can't picture it in my mind. How does the body differ from a Les Paul? Is it more
Well, you have the same body like a Les Paul, I would say. So the body shape it's very similar, but the neck is thinner and it's just a easier guitar to play for me, I would say.
And that particular body that it seems like you prefer, is there I would imagine there's an artist in the beginning that you maybe model yourself after. Is that right?
Well, maybe. I mean, I've always been a sucker for the Les Paul model, both that and the Flying V. I love the Flying V model as well. Never had one, unfortunately, but it's on my shopping list for sure. But if there was a specific artist, I mean, there were so many playing Les Pauls, I'd say.
At what point in your career did you find your signature sound?
I'm not even sure we did find it yet, to be honest.
Still searching, huh? That's good, though.
Yeah, I'm always going to look for to try to improve it somehow, I guess.
The Japanese market always gets a bonus. What did they get this time? And do you own all of the different versions of your music?
Well, on the Japanese version, we did a cover of a Rotting Christ song, actually, because they were a huge inspiration for me in the 90s. I mean, Thy Mighty Contract, the album which the song is from, is still today one of my favorite albums. So we did a cover for that for that release, like a tribute to those guys. And I do not own every copy of my releases. I tend to give them away.
Yeah, I have some friends that are avid collectors, to the point where I see them at shows, but they're never inside. They're always with their bags of records, waiting. They will wait till 4 a.m. for the artist to leave the building. It's unfortunate in a way because, like I said, I don't ever see them inside the venue. They're always outdoors waiting for a signature. But I mean, clearly this is something that they enjoy. So
yeah, I mean, if it works for them, why not?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing with people that are standing there with their phones, recording on their phones. I've done that to some extent, and it's hard. And for those people that do that, that's what they enjoy.
Yeah.
To each their own, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't see the problem with recording something on your phone, but maybe not the whole show. Just put the phone down and enjoy it in real life as well. because I mean it's always nice to have a like a memento of the experience, but there are limits, I would say.
And are the lyrics pretty straightforward, or are they open to interpretation?
I mean, they're straightforward to me, but I always prefer if people, make up their minds themselves on what they are about.
And what's the strangest rumor you've heard about yourself in the band?
Well, I haven't heard anything about myself. Not that I can recall. I mean, I guess there's always rumors, but nothing that really sticks out. But one thing about our vocalist is that a couple of years after Teras, there was a rumor going on in our hometown that Chris had left the band to study to become a priest, actually. And this was a little peculiar for us. It even got into the local magazine. And what he did was he had studied theology at the university just because of interest, But that turned into that he was converting to Christianity and becoming a priest. So that was a kind of a weird rumor, I think.
I would agree. What's new in the world of Corona for you? Are the infections up, down, or flat? And are there any upcoming drive-in concerts on the horizon?
Upcoming what?
Drive-in concerts. There have been here. I mean, Doro Pesh. I don't know if you're familiar with Doro.
Yeah, absolutely.
She recently played a concert at a drive-in. I don't know, a drive-in movie theater.
That's a concept, I would say.
Interesting.
And
there are here in the Bay Area where I live, there's actually in the area throughout America, drive-in theaters are like the new venue because obviously they're outside and people can separate themselves by way of their car and keep this social distancing to a maximum. How has this all affected you? Is there any positive development? So what's new in the world for you as far as the current worldwide pandemic?
Well, as here in Sweden, we didn't go into complete lockdown, but rather had restrictions. And there's like a ban on you can't gather more than 50 people in any official, like concerts or movie theaters or whatnot. At the moment, we have it reached the retirement homes for us, so we have kind of a high death toll, I would say, which is very unfortunate, but we have reached like a plateau right now. So it's managed. It's the healthcare is not on its knees or anything like that. They are handling it, even if it's strained. So it has been looking better. So we'll just see what happens now during summertime if people are gonna start act like idiots, and ignore the guidelines. But no drive-in shows planned or anything. There has been some small outdoor live streams, I know, with special invited people around this area. But that's about it. And the thing is, up here where I live, it hasn't struck us hard like in the major cities yet.
And finally, just two more things. In the beginning, did all three of you have hair? And did you ever consider shaving your head as your bandmates lost their hair?
Well, all three had hair, absolutely. And the other guys, they struggled. They soldier on very good, but finally they had to give up, which I think was a good thing for them to accept their fates. because I don't think metal is in how long your hair is. But I never myself considered cutting it, basically because this is how I look. But I mean, if it would start to fall off or something like that, I would probably just I would just end the tournament and just remove it.
And do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with anybody that might be listening to this?
Just that I hope you will check out the album and that you will enjoy it. And thank you for having me on your show.